you are wasting hours of your day, and those hours eventually lead up to years, and those years lead up to a lifetime. So I want to help you get clarity on what you want and where you're going so you can achieve your goals and experience the life that you deserve and you desire. And if you and I have not met yet, my name is Troy. My goal is to help you in your life. Now, let's just face it. The reality is it's easy to let time just slip away, because I believe what's taking place in these situations is that society is conditioned to do exactly that. If you think about it, if you think of like over the years, what are we evolving in terms of our entertainment? It's a major part of it. What are we evolving in terms of our social conditionings? What are they leading you towards? If you think about just entertainment alone, it's a product that moves towards money. Beautiful thing, right? There's a sports game, a live sports game. You pay to go engage, be part of that journey. It's a beautiful thing. However, that's where money moves. So if money moves that way, our capitalist society is going to build around it even more. And so we do other things to get you to engage further. Now we're going to let you gamble. We're going to make it so you can watch it on TV. We're going to make it so you can stream it from your phone. All more ways for you to engage deeper with this entertainment. And what really at the end of the day is this entertainment? Well, at times it can be entertaining. It's an exciting thing. It can bring value to your life. But what happens over the years is we condition more and more of this as the way of being, as a way of existing. And then your life starts to slip into these things further and further and further. It shows up in the movies, the TV shows, the swiping on your phone, the TikToks, all the things that are just easy to digest and kind of gravitate to this lower level paradigm, this lower way of thinking where time just starts to slip by. And then we add in alcohol and drugs, and it just slips by more and more and more. And I know right now, just by even saying that can be a little off-putting. You're like, let me do what I want to do. Let me be. I'm happy with my entertainment. And I get it. I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm not saying it's like this, like, do not engage with this thing. This is some like, oh, these are terrible. I just wanted to create awareness around this for you. And so as you create more awareness around it, you can start to engage with these things from a different standpoint. Are you engaging with it to disassociate, to escape? If you are, that might mean there needs to be some inner work that needs to take place. Maybe you're not happy with your reality. So what we're going to talk about in a minute is how do you adjust that? How do you get more clear on what you want and where you're going, and then how to achieve that? Or are you engaging in these things because it's time to check out a little bit? You just want to relax. You want to watch the ball game, whatever it is, or you want to go take a friend or go with yourself to this live sports event, whatever it might be. These can be good things. So they can add value. But again, when money moves towards it, we're going to do everything we can just as a culture to make it like to maximize that venue for you. So you can kind of, again, eventually get lost in it. And so what I want you to do is an audit of the energy that you're putting out and the energy you receive from what you engage in. And so you can literally make a list of these are all the things I engage in, right? The city you live in is something you engage in. Your home is something you engage with. Your office, if you have an office, is something you engage with. It takes a certain level out of you to engage with these things. Like as an example, like to do yoga, it's down the road from me. It takes a certain level of energy to go to yoga. Maybe it's a level 3, but the energy you get back is more like a level 7 that adds value to my cup. And so what I want you to do is this energetic audit. And as you do that, you'll start to get more clarity on where you're putting your most valuable resource, and that is your energy. Your time, yes, is very valuable. But the energy, if you don't have energy in these moments, you might have the time, but if you don't have energy, then you're not actually getting much value out of it, are you? And so the reason I believe it's easy to slip in these paradigms of wasting time is because, one, again, our society is designed to pull you in these directions, because oftentimes where your attention goes, we've heard your energy flows, but it's also where your money flows. And so if we can get you engaged in these things, these lowbrow activities, then you're going to put your money there as well. And then we kind of build this society around this. And it puts you into this haze. And you almost start to believe that this is where life exists. And what it does is that haze is like being asleep. And that sleepiness disengages you from life. And then you're not living your dreams, the reality that you desire. And then what happens is you see somebody else who may be living somewhat of that reality, oftentimes just by circumstance, meaning they were handed down or passed down certain opportunities that most of you don't have. Like if you're like me, you got to work for these things. And so the frame I come from is like, I don't have time to engage with these things because I didn't get that magical ticket. I would say it's not even a magical ticket. It's much better to work your way through these things, right? These different paradigms. But I wasn't given that ticket just to coast and go enjoy the things. I have to engage with life. So do you, I'm assuming, right? And so to do that, you have to first get clarity. You have to know what it is that you want. Knowing what it is that you want is like, it's like a vacuum that just sucks up anything that like moves you towards that direction. And that's what you want. You want this massive clarity. And it makes it easy when you're in that frame to put the blinders on and block out everything else. If you lack that clarity and if you lack an emotional connection to it, it's very easy to get pulled off and pushed to the side and get drawn away. It's too easy for a friend to go, hey man, let's go out and do this. Let's go out and have, spend the night drinking, having fun, whatever. And while again, that might be fun on the front end, on the back end, there's a greater cost. And again, this doesn't have to be some rigid type of thing, but if we look at everything in terms of energetics and the energy you get and the energy you give and the energy you gain, imagine if you went out with your friends and you trained yourself, you conditioned yourself to engage with those environments. And at first it's hard. I know firsthand because I do this and went on this journey, is you engage in these experiences completely sober. And maybe you learn to be more social. You learn to laugh at jokes. You learn to create, make other people laugh. Now you're learning valuable skills in a sober mindset that you can apply to other situations in your life. And then when you finish a beautiful evening out with friends, hanging out, having a good time, the only loss that you have is maybe the sleep that you didn't get. But what you gain from that evening, laughing, having fun with your friends, meeting some people, connecting, all the things that a good night out can offer, you get way more out of it. Whereas before, maybe you got the positive side, but there also was a massive loss energetically because what you're using to create that state. So rather, you face the challenge, you turn towards it, and turning towards that challenge develops you. It pushes you to a deeper strength. Think of like moving forward in your evolution as this stripping away process. When you face challenges, what this means is there's certain parts of you that can't make it to the next level, the next paradigm, the next challenge. So as an example, by you choosing to go out and be sober, this is just happens to be the example we're using. And I'm not making some big, um, like a challenge here on sobriety or whatever, but I do think it's very valuable. I would encourage that for you. But what I see with this is, again, it's forcing you to develop certain parts of yourself that maybe are dormant, and also certain parts of you, like maybe it's being shy, maybe it's not being decisive, being small in groups. At first, those things are going to exist, but as you move up in that paradigm, they have to fall away. They won't work in that paradigm. And it's almost like naturally by stepping up and choosing to do that, those parts of you start to fall away. And so find those things in your life where you step into them and they challenge you, they develop you, they bring more out of you. And so by having that clarity, it's a natural process of it. But how do you get the clarity? The clarity comes from getting clear on what you want. But how do you get clear on what you want? You have to have emotional leverage over yourself. You have to know why you want to do something and why it matters to you. And what the cost, this is the part we often leave out, what the cost of not doing it also looks like as well. And so one of the things you're doing is you're using this like carrot and stick method. The carrot is, if I do this, if I move this way in life, if I choose to do these things, like if I decide to start going out and I choose to go out sober, if I go back to the gym and start working out regularly, if I call these types of friends, if I put myself out there and join this new group or this new thing or this new hobby, who will I be? And then start to look at all the upsides of that, right? The beauty that can come out of that. And then look at the negative side or not, and that's okay. But if I don't, what does my reality look like? Does it stay the same? If I stay small, and then you get really clear on what that looks like. And so you're creating this energy of a carrot, what it looks like moving forward, and the stick, what it's like if you just stay small. Carrot and the stick, and that helps you create emotional leverage over yourself. Because it's not enough just to assume you'll magically figure it out. Like, sadly, again, going back to what you're fighting against is this cultural, like, years of conditioning and development to keep you just entertained. If I can keep you entertained, you're easy to market to. You're easy to manipulate. When you're small, you're not going to stand up. It's easy for me to market to and go, hey, you'd be a lot happier if you had this brand new car. Look at, oh yeah, that would make me happy, right? But if you're in that haze, that's how you'll believe reality exists. Or like, I can't market to you and go, hey, if you just went outside and went for a walk up that hill or that mountain behind your house, like every night for 30 to 60 minutes, and you did that for 30 days, you're going to have some massive awareness points and some awakening points that will probably change your life, the direction of your life. I don't get any money from that, right? They can't market to you like that. So that is the reality. And so again, that's what I mean by society is conditioning you to think a certain way. So you have to break that conditioning. And then what you do is you have to realize that time isn't promised to you. And as you move through life, you're probably starting to realize how real that is. It's easy to think like, oh, that thing happens to them. That doesn't happen to me. That terrible situation, that thing that happened outside. But we don't know the reality of when our time is out. And so it's better to start living now and notice all the things that are blockading you from like stepping into that deeper essence of connection with life. It's very true that everybody dies, but not everybody lives. And when you really grab that at its face value and go, damn, like that's true. So what does it mean for you to start living? And the time is now. Get really clear on it and block out the distractions that pull you away from it. And it might be gossip, conversations with certain people, certain types of conversations, being generally lazy, having too much fear, too much anxiety. Like again, oftentimes they're natural things, but you have to eventually at some point take a stand, move through these things or learn about them, go into your trauma, unpack your trauma, let it go, step into reality and go be social and meet people and challenge yourself. Like when is that time going to happen? Because these things are guaranteed to develop you. You can't not help but develop through this process. Or take the easy route, do what you've always done, and therefore always get the same results, but yet hope and wish that something else would happen in the future differently. You have to also break the delusions of reality. Like I'll often hear people say they're like ideas of where they want to go in life, what they want to be, this big grandiose idea. And it's almost in itself a form of like a drug because it's almost like it gives you this high, like, man, one day I'm gonna be on stage and playing my guitar or whatever it is, right? Like I ain't playing guitar, I'll say that right now. But you or whoever it is, right? Maybe they have this dream, like I'm gonna play guitar. But motherfucker, the steps take place right now. It's like the hard laborious work. It's like getting playing the guitar so much that the blood is on your fingers, right? Because you played it over and over. That's the reality of the situation. And if you ain't playing that game, if you ain't putting in the hours like that, then break the delusion. Just get away. Like, don't even think about that. And even then, I would say bring the goal a little bit closer and just practice. How do I express myself more? How do I like put my heart and soul into my music and my expression so people can feel it? So when I play, people feel what I say, feel what I play. That's what you're actually looking to create. And then it becomes a real life process that's not in some delusional standpoint. Anytime you're in the delusion, you're like, again, it's like, I'm totally gonna butcher this, but it's like there was a test they did, like this psychology test, where they put, I think it was either sugar or cocaine in a water drip, and these rats could come up and rats, I don't remember which one, but they could come up and get the dopamine from these, right? From the sugar or the cocaine, whatever it was. They'd come up over and over and over and just get this free dopamine hits. That's the same thing you're doing with these delusional thoughts, okay? Dopamine hits, dopamine hits, dopamine hits. But then they change their environment, because when they're in that environment, they're just in a cage, and they would repeat this process over and over. And they changed their environment where they had like outdoor access, where they could go out, still probably a much bigger cage, but they could go like outdoors. There was small little trees and branches and water and all this stuff. Guess what? They naturally quit going and getting those hits of dopamine from the synthetic process of sugar and cocaine, whatever it was. And so that's why earlier when I talked about, like, why aren't you doing those types of things? Why aren't you heading outdoors? Why aren't you going to open spaces? That'll change your reality. You do that for 30 days and watch a shift take place. And then you branch out. So you're walking the hill, mountain behind your house, going for bike rides, and then pretty soon you're stretching out further. You're exploring different places. And it leads you to better ideas. Remember, a lot of what you're doing with your brain is not forcing intelligence. You're just getting more access to your own brain, your own thoughts. That's a very nuanced point, but very powerful. And so what you've been led to believe is like, I have to study more, I have to be smarter. What has that gotten you so far? Maybe it's brought you some rewards, but the reality is if you can just be in a better state, a better mood, a better frequency, you could even say, right? The things you're attracted to and connecting with. If you can raise that, then naturally things in your life start to change because you get better ideas, better things come to you. Think of yourself less like forcing your way through life and more like this like radio signal, this tuning like fork that you're kind of catching waves of thought, catching waves of ideas. And the higher you can raise it, the more elevated it becomes. And we'll just use elevation as our example. I don't know if it's up, sideways, whatever, but elevated you become with these thoughts and these frequencies that you attract by being in a better mood, a better state, then naturally better ideas and better opportunities come towards you. So it's like the side door to get what you actually want is raising your mood, letting go of all the low level paradigms of ways of thinking, ways of behaving, the junk food, the things that distract and waste your time. You ain't got time for that. Like put down the phone swiping and just put on some relaxing meditation music. Watch what meditation will do. Just get like present for a little while. Feel your energy. You're probably distracting yourself because you're depressed. If you're depressed and sad, you're lacking gratitude and acceptance. You got to accept your reality and then learn to be grateful for it. So you move into that frame. Like, okay, what am I lacking gratitude for? Like the reality is you probably got it pretty freaking good. It's maybe not someone else's life, but that means you're comparing. Get out of that frame. Go back into your own frame. All right, this is where I'm at. This is what I got. Accept it and start working from that frame of reference point. And then gratitude. What am I not being grateful for? It could be a lot worse. There are people right now who have it much worse than you, and that ain't it. And I'll do that sometimes. I'll grab moments in my life or situations and go, damn, it could be a lot worse. Like, what am I tripping for? And so you come back into that frame, you start to build from there. And so these things allow you to raise that energetic state. So if you're depressed, that's probably what you're lacking. Or you might also be experiencing like anxiety. And so think of anxiety less like, even like anxiety, fear, we'll put in the same kind of bucket here, is who is telling you or what part of you is telling you that this is a bad thing? Think about that for a second. Who's telling you that that's a bad thing? It's just an energy, right? It's literally an energy that then you, parts of your brain, are giving meaning to. And then you're allowing that meaning, what you're inferring, infer means to pass on meaning. You're inferring it as this means I should avoid that or I should play small, whatever it is. And so you're actually taking counsel from your fears and not the deepest parts of you. And so what you'd be better served to do is to hear that and change the meaning and go, okay, that energy, this fear, this anxiety I feel is actually maybe a sign to look at life with curiosity, to have a little more wonderment. I wonder what's next. I'm curious what this might mean. Let me move towards it. And so you start to realize that by creating this mental shift, when you feel that energy of fear, because I believe what fear actually is, it's part of you, a smaller part of you, sensing expansion and growth. And it's like, no, I want to stay the small. I don't want to grow. I want to stay little. And so when you change the meaning, you go, we just want to stay small. But that ain't the ways of the universe. The way of the universe, it's always evolving. It's always expanding. It's always reproducing. And so then you fall into the frame of the universe and you go, all right, let's ride. We're evolving. We're growing. Let's do it. I'm into it. Let's ride. You change the meaning and then you watch what happens. And your life starts to take place in a different way. And so by doing these things, understanding your own energies, letting go of the distractions, getting more into yourself, allowing that time and energy to take place, you begin to evolve. When you're distracting, you're not evolving. You're just like, I wouldn't even say you're existing. That's me being polite because you're not really existing. You're just there, right? You are really like a parasite just sucking off of life. And even someone who is more awake is still largely like a parasite. And so do yourself the favor, do everyone a favor, and start to wake up to the reality that is and the possibilities that are out there. No one said it's going to be easy, but no one said it was supposed to be easy. That's you expecting that. And what you'll find is as you move towards these discomforts, you move towards these different energies of evolution, of growth. Sure, at first it's a little uncomfortable. It's like a cold shower. When you first get into it, you're like, oh, fuck, this hurts. But after a minute, everything kind of relaxes. And after that, it goes away and you actually feel a lot better. And then it becomes easier and easier and easier. So that's what you're moving into with life. To allow yourself to expand, get really clear on what it is that you want in life. and build emotional leverage around it, and then move towards it at all costs. Block out the distractions because you got this and it's worth it. It's going to change the quality and texture of your life. And then something else is going to happen. It's going to help change the quality of the texture of the life of those people around you, because you'll become what I call walking medicine. I love you. I'm here to help you. Make sure you head over to my website, troyfontana.co. There's a lot of information that can help you. One of the things I have right now is a free mini course around confidence to help you develop your confidence. That's a big thing for most people that I see. A lot of times that bridge between what you want and where you are, and the lack of it, the lack of traveling that bridge, is because you've got the confidence to do so. And so you can gain some of these insights that I have here on this free video course to actually walk that bridge and get closer to where you want. And of course, like, share, subscribe, send this to somebody who can help, who it would help. And I appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, peace.